It's one of those times when I have no idea what time it is. Fell asleep. The healing sleep. A very tired person. Oof. So I'm reading Nathan Reynolds' book, Snatched from the Flames. And nothing to do with the book. The book isn't triggering it. It's the state of mind, the state of being that allows for understanding and comprehension to come in. And it suddenly dawns on me why the community that I came to reacted and responded to me the way that it did. So my experience, my perception is I was this victim of childhood trauma. I'm just trying to find a place, a peaceful place to heal, to be whole, to live a healthy life. I ended up in the desert, and I've become aware that the entire community is made up of assets. Mainstream society looks at these people, they're the unwanted, they're the homeless, they're the drug addicts, they were made that way. And most of them are the assets that were trained in psychic phenomenon for their more intuitive abilities. So I just see the all-pervasive evil going on there. Like, oh, I gotta leave. I cannot stay here. I see myself as different. I hadn't perceived, like, yet where they placed me in that order. It came to a point where I disassociated so strongly that I came to, and I understood that I knew where I was, and that this was a regular routine I was in, that this was, I was in my home, I was in familiar territory, but the driver had left the building, and somebody else who had they just had to fly around and entertain themselves. Suddenly, at the driver's wheel, like, okay, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing here? Who is this man standing in front of me? What does he want from me? Oh shit, I know I'm supposed to know what that is, but I really don't know. And so I sent out a message to the community. I'm like, if you see me and I'm responding to you like I don't recognize you, just leave me in my camp. Don't come near. Just let me be, because I knew that I had created a safe space for myself, and that I was okay there, that I had everything I need, and that the triggers would come to tell me what to do, because, muscle memory and everything. And that's the whole ritual with smoking. Like, every part of me, every hidden aspect knows the ritual of rolling a cigarette, and then that way the consciousness shift, the different aspects can come forward as needed. So then I get one of the main handlers. She runs a big camp there, and she's the handler of, like, the most notorious of them that are out there. The ones everybody blames for everything, all the stealing and all of that. They're just assets, man. So I get a message from this person welcoming me to the club, so to speak, as if okay, I finally woke up to where I was and who I was. No, I had woken up out of. So my message back was like, no, I will never be like you, never. And so I did what I could to get out of there. And I mean, I was not safe. I was, in town, huddled in a crumbled building, like constantly woken up because I knew this one specific person was circling, looking for me, I had undermined their gig, man. He would show up and, like an old man, he had gone to town with an old man, and he was sending that old man to use his own check to get him what he wanted. And I spoke kindly to the old man. I said, sure, you can get me a sandwich. And I just projected at him what he was going in for, so only what the old man wanted in the sandwich for me. And, this other guy who was, he was trying to project, what he wanted the old man to buy into the store. But I just calmly kept focused and projecting to the old man, just get what you need, just get what you need, just get what you need, just get what you need. And yeah, get a sandwich. So and he came out, and you could just see some part of that old man was just so grateful. And people who don't know are just never going to believe this stuff. But they would swap body consciousness, like the consciousness of one person would jump into another one. So what they would do is people would come from out of town, like do-gooders, okay? And they'd be like, oh, the amount of freedom out here, I want to support these people. And then they would get sucked in, and their consciousness would get imprisoned. Somebody else would jump into their body and drive their car. And so the consciousness of the person driving the car is left in a body in town wondering, there goes my car. How do I get... They just... these people do not know what hit them. They're just such powerful spellcasters and everything. So, it's just my nature to look out after the vulnerable, the people that are taken advantage of. So I'm just waiting for that bus, and it's cold, it's the desert, and it's just me and my dog, and I'm just huddling in the dark in an abandoned, crumbled down building, hoping I'm not stepping in anything or get poked by any needles or anything. And I'm out of there. And I'm like, what is the one place? Okay, I was in this place in Vermont, and I was shown this place to camp out, and this guy came along, and his name was David, and we got along really well. Just the softest, most childlike, most innocent part of him is what I interacted with. He got uncomfortable because he'd start with you got to be careful of this, you got to be careful of that, like warning children of the dangers of people and traffic and food. And he just like an overprotective parent caught up in fear and paranoia, you know what I mean? So he got to be too much. But at one point I went into the grocery store, and it's a very small town, so everybody knows everybody. And I know that he would do work so that he could buy beer. And I went into the grocery store, and I got us some alcohol. And the woman at the register is just looking at me. And she's like, okay, but we can only sell him like one every so many hours. And I'm like, that's so sweet. These people, they understand that he's struggling with addiction, and they're trying, they're being supportive but not enabling. And I saw because this is my nature and this is what I think everybody else's nature is, that they're just having compassionate understanding and patience, and they really do want to help him. And I'm sitting here today and I'm realizing that was not what was happening. They were the handlers. He's the necessary evil. Because he would tell me how he would just go off and, sleep under a tree. He'd just escape from everything. And he wanted me to start handling his Social Security disability check. And I'm like, whoa, no, that's over my head. Because if I don't give you the money that you think you have and you want, I don't want to be the one to say no to you, because I don't know. Everybody, like, his family's afraid of him. They're shocked to see me walking around with him. Like, what is this one? See, I've just always had a presence about me. And even my mother would comment it. She's like, when you walk in a room, everybody notices. Of course, she was jealous about it. And I was hateful of it. I was like, I don't want people looking at me. I'm so insecure and stuff like that. But there's something about me. It's the bloodline. It's the awareness that I had totally disassociated from. I don't know what to do with this, So I had come back to this community wanting to be a part of the nurturing, the compassionate understanding, and in exchange offer, I can be really, really healing to people. Really, really healing. And I'm a protection. There's a hedge of protection that comes with me that people take advantage of. And blessings that come toward me, like karma, law of attraction. Because I'm always innocent, see the best, and hope for the best. And they snatch those things away from me as they gain control of my environment. And so I come back here thinking, I'm just this lowly person who needs help. But I don't want to take advantage of anybody. That's not how they see me. They thought I was a handler, that I was David's handler. And they did not know what to make of me, because I was not one of their handlers. And so there's the suspicion, like, all right, who has sent this woman to take over our asset? I didn't know that. I'm just a homeless woman, I was supposed to be somebody else's asset, but I just kept breaking out. They couldn't fully control me. So, So then I come back here after being in the desert and seeing all this evil, and I've got to get to green places and fresh running water. And there are those that are supportive of me, who I now know are the good cop handlers. The bad cop handlers treat me like I'm an asset, but they don't. They know that they can only go so far with me. They don't know why. So they just don't know what to make of me. And I finally sense the painting of their perception around me. It's just utter confusion for them. It's just utter confusion. They don't want to make room for me, because they can't handle me. You just can't handle the bar. That's what they used to say in Slab City about the handlebar. You can't handle the bar. Not to me specifically, but, that was the catchphrase. So, they can't handle me, but I'm not a bad thing. I'm not working against them. I'm not out to get them. But they're drawn to me because I do embody such loving light. And they can't complain about me because I'm not stealing anything. I'm not creating drama, pretty much. Well, I did for a minute there. And that only backfired. That just backfired on them. So they put a post on Facebook, the police department, that they were looking for this guy. And I don't normally call the police on anything, but I was at the point where the choice is I become weak and I become a victim, or I kill the motherfucker. And that's just not an option. It doesn't flow. I just don't even entertain it. That aspect of me that should have been, that they wanted to program, they couldn't do it. They did not succeed. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna get the cops. Like, let them handle it. Well, they come down there, they don't even look for the person making the call. They're just like, oh, the usual threat. If we get any more complaints, you'll all be kicked out of here. And then later on, they were called back a few days later, different circumstances, and they're like, well, that's not real, we can't entertain that, we're not going to investigate it, blah, 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 you can call, here's a number to call, and left. And then they put this post on Facebook looking for this person, and my response was, it was 3 times, if you had responded to me and actually asked for IDs, you would have caught that person that you're looking for now. If you had responded incident number 2, you would have that person that you're looking for right now. And if you responded to incident number 3, you would have had that person in your pocket right now. And now you put out a call to help and you expect people like me to help you. So that just makes them look like fools. That wasn't my intent. It was just the truth. Like, you're looking for this person, but they were right before you. The arrow was being pointed. Your attention was being drawn the whole time. But because it was some crazy homeless woman out in the woods, you don't take that seriously, Like, but I could just sense while I sat here reading this book how they weave a spell, and it affects the way people perceive us. And I'm not acting in accordance with the spell that's been cast around me. Thankfully, there are people that see through it. But it reminded me so much, like when I went to the emergency room, I could not get rehydrated. And I had started, parasite cleanse and all of that. So there was a war going on inside me. And my body was having a hard time renewing itself like it normally had. But I went to the doctor, and the doctor had said, in our society, with our modern health, there's no way you have parasites. Somebody's lying to you. They're trying to steal your money. And I just felt the energy of the spell come between me and the people whose videos I was watching. They're liars. They're liars. Look at them lie. But these people didn't ask me for money. They didn't say, oh, here's my product. You need this product if you're having these symptoms. No, this was out of the blue. I normally, if I go to sleep in the woods, I wake up refreshed and renewed. I sleep on the ground and 10 years comes off my life. It's just automatic. But I had been sleeping out in those woods, and I was waking up for 2 weeks out of every month. Just the lower half of me. I've been through menopause. I stopped menstruating a few years back. But my body cramping like it wanted to menstruate again. And achy joints, just heaviness. And I would have to roll over and lay on that side so my joints could move. And then eventually I'd be able to get up. I mean, there was no way I was getting up out of the bed in the morning, going to the place to get breakfast and stuff like that. So I was basically trapped in the woods physically. And I went to the doctor, and they had me tested for arthritis and yada yada. But I'm sitting here recently watching a video, and she said specifically, postmenopausal women who did not take the vaccination were exposed to people who were vaccinated and exposed to 5G environments. All those symptoms fit that exactly. And so that's why I started it. And I came back from the hospital even after the doctor said that. I said, no, I'm resuming this routine. And it's 100 times better. I still get the heaviness and stuff like that. But the aches and the pains and the cramping and stuff, I'm not getting that. So the Parasite Cleanse, the dietary routine that I've started, is working. It was just such a, like an alcoholic, somebody who's been on alcohol for a long time. If they quit cold turkey, like, they drop dead. And it's the same thing with smokers. People who have smoked for a long time, they stop smoking, and all of a sudden cancer hits and they drop dead. So I know that my body just I have to introduce new foods before I let the old foods go away. My body needs to relearn, like smoking, the chemicals in smoke, they help us digest food, because we cannot digest this reality. Just my digestive system at one point shut down. I could stomach no more. I could digest no more of my life experience. And so that's why you crave a cigarette after you eat, is because your body needs the chemicals to help digest the food. And then there's the antihistamine aspect. So we're irritated constantly by the choices we have to make, the limitations, the people we have to deal with. And so I break out in hives. But I have a cigarette and coffee to rush the nicotine and therefore the antihistamine through my system, and the hives relax. I'm alleviated of those symptoms. And then also because I've got the different aspects. So I've got the autism spectrum, which is the highly intuitive one, and then I've got the ADHD one, the one who can receive information, knowledge, and understanding like genius. Photographic memory, that one's ADHD. And this stuff in the tobacco helps ADHD, helps treat ADHD. They're doing research on how to take the tar and the bad stuff out so that they can isolate that one thing that people who experience ADHD can use. They want to bottle it. So there's just all the doctors like, you got to quit smoking. I'm like, yeah, I know this is obvious, but you have no idea. And of course they're not going to acknowledge it. This can't be public information. So it was brutal emotionally not devastating, but oh God, I want to be sick. I want to sick it up. They may not have been able to cast spells for me to hallucinate and perceive, but they could definitely cast spells to surround me so that people around me would perceive me in certain ways. And in ways it's been helpful and a protection, and in other ways it's been hindering. So I guess this is just here for anybody who doesn't understand why they perceive themselves as one way and they're sincere. The heater's kicking on. But they're not eliciting the reaction, the response one would think. I'm honest, sincere. I have no criminal record. I'm not hurting anybody. So why are they treating me like I'm an idiot, or treating me like I got cooties, like I'm a danger to somebody? This whole video as to why. Because there really is spellcasting, and it can be as simple as a doctor speaking these words in a normal, average, day-to-day tone that you would expect them to. Just like that. And I can tell you, he's a Jewish doctor. Because when they wheeled me in from the ambulance, they all greeted each other with Shabbat Shalom. And shalom is such a beautiful word. To be in right relationship with God and absolutely everything within creation, to be in right relationship within yourself. It's such a beautiful word. But their idea of right relationship is, aren't you glad to be on the top of the food chain? Because I'm wheeling in something at the bottom, from the bottom of the food chain. Treat it accordingly, man. And like the signs and the signals that they are not kidding when they say it's just a hand gesture. Like, I'm trying not to talk with my hands. That's what I do. But anything could be triggering somebody. Something they see in the background. A gesture that I make. The way that I'm wearing the glasses on top of my head. The color of the shirt that I'm wearing. The pattern. It's like everything can be used. It's so much simpler when, you got your old-time farmers that they know the land. It's a simple life, and they don't bugger about with anything from the new world. They're the old-timers who email. I'm not getting an email. My neighbor, she will not leave using her flip phone. You cannot text her. You cannot. The only cell phone she's going to carry is a flip phone. One of the first cell phones that came out. Email, no, she just watches her TV, Not that that's good, because that comes with a whole lot of programming on its own, but, to have that simple perception of oneself preserved. I'm just a normal human being going about my normal human being business. A simple life. What a gift that perception is. But at the same time, it's dangerous in that they don't realize that they are a part of something. They are a cell in something much bigger, and they're being managed and placed and kept in that place, in that perception, for a reason. And the reason's probably not good, because they go to monthly lodge meetings. They're not Masonic, they're not the normal names, but, I just asked, I was like, well, are they formed together based on a religious? Oh, no, they're community members. Yeah, anybody from the public can go at any time. What do you mean anybody from the public? Like, there's something that goes on there that her day-to-day personality is totally unaware of. I'm not going to go investigate. I haven't been invited to either, and that's okay. It's funny because people that do invite me places, they want me there. They want my presence. I'm healing, I'm encouraging and all that. But it's like they forget about me over in the corner. Like, they just want my presence. They're absorbed with everything else that they have to deal with. My presence is like this calm, anchoring thing. But I'm not included in the reindeer games, okay? I'm Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And you know what? After I save the day, I'm not going to go play with the reindeer. I'm not going to join them in their games, I'm here to provide comfort to the parts of them that need the comfort and are open to it. But the rest of their little reindeer personalities that are inside them, I can't cooperate with. I can't be a part of it. And it's amazing that so many of them understand that. And so that's why I'm tolerated and I'm supported as much as they can allow themselves to, because a part of them knows they really, really, really need me in their life. Like I'm a channel for what they need. But they're just so caught up in everything else that they can't do anything. So yeah, the becoming aware of the energies painting me, the spells being cast around me. Like I would have dreams. I'd wake up from sleep and they'd be painting my face. And I'm like, stop it. I just want to be me. Like, one more mission. What? There's always one more mission, man. Like, no. Let me do it as me. If I gotta go on a mission, let me do it as me. But that's not for me to decide, I guess. The great unveiling. One day it will occur. I was shown one of those in the heavens. Like, there's nothing stopping me from sharing it. But sometimes I'm like, should I share this? I don't know if I should share this. Like, should anybody be able to access this? But I was in like a diner setting with a bunch of men in their black suits and ties, and there's a presence behind me which I know is God, and I'm in this diner and God's got my back. He's showing me something, and the men stand up and they take off their shirts and they have white undershirts on, and I'm prodded, well, take off your shirt. And so I take mine off, and I have this sundress on, and it's all iridescent sparklies. And I'm like, we're supposed to have white garments on underneath here. But that's all I was shown. I wasn't told what it meant. I was just shown that when I'm unveiled, there's something different about me that's really sparkly, but I'm in the group of the people wearing the white garments. So that's why I'm always left with, what the hell does this mean? And I have, like, meetings in dark places. They're not dark like evil, they're just hidden places. And I always call them my brothers. And it's like the guys gather around for Sambuca and a cigar. They're like, and God comes in, or the overseer, whatever, comes in and says, all right, who's had the greatest number of alternate identities? And the guys, and they point at me, and I'm like, okay, that's a bragging right for men, but I know about bragging rights amongst men. You don't want to be in competition with them, because their bragging rights is like, all right, who humped the Bloody Mary in the backyard? Like, I've heard the conversations. I don't want to be like in the boys club, succeeding at boys club things. This is not. So I always look at like, okay, this is just necessity. Okay, anything I do is just necessity. This is not to outdo or to achieve anything. But if I've succeeded, it's because I've had to. There's no other option. That's just what I had to do. Like, obviously, if my soul's been painted over a few more times, it's because dudes are cooler and can get away with putting on a personality for longer. Women, like the desert community I was talking about, I was being asked by the elders to get more involved because women don't last as long there as men. I was there for 5 years. That is as long almost as the highest women there. Some of them have been there longer, but 5 years, like, they had just gotten there a year or two before I had. And so women don't last as long. And I didn't do it by being mean or underhanded or being more brutal than the men. I did it through loving kindness and cooperation and supporting a sense of community and respect and honor and just being honest and just as messy drunk as they were. Because I needed to work some things out, and you can't do that in mainstream society. It's not allowed, or you get handled like David. And I don't like to be handled. So yeah, that was the big sharing. So maybe it'll serve somebody. Why are people perceiving this is not, why are they acting that way towards me? I'm not that kind of way. So now you know there's spells being cast around you. Yeshua, yeah, Abun, the Holy Spirit, the dance, they can take care of those things. They could dispel them, but they're not going to if they're serving us. Okay, so you have your assets that are, what do they call them? Oh, the sleepers. I'm awake, but I'm being hidden, like asleep. Like the heavens are gonna pull me out of the pocket. This is a girl. Boom, nuclear bomb going off of enlightenment all around you. Like, suddenly everybody around me is awake. Like, Sleep over the kingdom of heaven. There's probably some terrorist group that calls themselves that. Like, I probably just triggered a bunch of red flags, over the internet. Like, oh my god, this word was used. She's one of ours. No, she's not one of ours. Good grief. It's a wild and woolly world out there. Oh, the sun's starting to come out. That's what time of day it is. So that's good. I had a very long, full night's sleep. That's actually incredible. I went to sleep I think it was just getting dark out. Oh, that's a good long sleep. No wonder I'm hungry. I guess I'll go eat, man. Guess I'll go do that. Then I gotta finish reading the book. I've set myself a goal. I'm going to bypass, not cooperate with the ADHD, because there's another project I really, really want to do, and I just got the stuff to do it before I fell asleep last. I mean, it was the last thing before I fell asleep was the package arrived. This thing I want to make out, craft. I've set myself a goal. I should have finished a whole book. I used to, when I was younger, I could sit down, give me a book, 800 pages, and for the next 24, 48 hours, it was nothing but that book while I eat, while I do anything. I'd be walking, reading that book. So, focus. I got a book to read. Stop painting me.